Hey everyone, what's up? So today I'm really excited because I'm going to be trying out Air Canada's Transcontinental Signature Business Class on one of their 787s. Now, this is actually my second time trying this product, but the first time was on a red-eye flight after a full day of flying and I was almost too tired to board, let alone film anything. Now, I know the hard product on these planes hasn't changed since COVID hit, so I know I'm in for some pretty damn comfortable lie-flat seats and a massive screen, but I'm curious to see what the service offering will be like on our 5-hour flight to Vancouver. I've got my boarding pass, I've got my mask, and if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go frantically finish packing before my ride gets here in 5 minutes. See you at the airport! Pulling up to Terminal 1 in Toronto, you can see there's a dedicated drop-off and check-in area just for priority passengers. Now, normally this is reserved for business class travelers and those with at least Elite 50K status, but since the thing hit, they've opened this up to include Elite 25K and 35K plebeians such as myself. For today's trip though, I'll be flying up front, so that change doesn't really apply. There was a grand total of one other person checking in when I was, so it only took a minute or so to drop off my bag, grab my boarding pass, and make my way to security. So I just got through security and this empty terminal is kind of bumming me out, so I'm gonna go be sad about it somewhere with free food and wine and head up to the Maple Leaf Lounge. 4 hours to kill. Should be fun. Now, I'm not going to make you all listen to an extra 3 minutes of me talking about all the changes Air Canada has made to their lounges since reopening. If you want to subject yourself to that, I have a whole other video for you linked below. But by and large, what I'll say is things are just about how you'd expect them to be. Drinks are now served by bartenders, the buffet is replaced by QR code online ordering, the chairs are wearing masks, and everyone is socially distanced from hand sanitizer dispensers, or something like that. Seriously though, the food itself is pretty good and I was satisfied with most of what I had. I'd really recommend the toffee cake if you've got a sweet tooth or the ginger chicken bowl if you're looking for something a little bit more substantial. And with that, it was time to make the 3-hour walk over to gate D41 and board my flight home. This particular airframe was the second ever plane delivered to Air Canada in their new livery, and I actually had the chance to tour it in Vancouver back before it entered service in 2017. Vancouver, here we come! And here it is, my seat for the next 5-ish hours. Like I mentioned before, Air Canada has an exceptional business class hard product. These lie-flat seats are clean, stylish, and business-like. The red logo and faux wood trim complement the grays and white of the seat really well, especially coupled with the cool destination slideshow on the personal TV screens. There's more than enough room in these seats to make yourself comfortable, and quite a few little nooks to store your belongings. Like this one down here beside the aisle, one in the footwell, and there's also this compartment next to the window, which contains a small remote, headphone jack, and USB charger. Beside this, there's a little screen to control your seat, which can also be used to turn on the overhead lights, and even has a button to call a flight attendant. Unless you're an introvert like me, in which case it has a button to be terrified of accidentally pressing throughout the duration of the flight. There's also a small reading light here next to the headrest. The table, meanwhile, is pretty big and sturdy and folds down and out like this. Bedding comes pre-packaged in these plastic bags, which were a bit bulky but easy to store in the footwell until after takeoff. The crew also handed out Clean Care Plus kits pretty much right after boarding, which include some COVID travel essentials like a mask, gloves, wet wipes, and hand sanitizer that actually doesn't smell like a hangover. After a few minutes, we were pushing back and making our way out to 06 left.
My name is Richard Devon. I'll be your service director today on flight number 123 shortly departing for Vancouver. We'd like to remind you that wearing the approved face covering over your mouth, nose, and chin is a mandatory requirement issued by Transport Canada. For the cabin crew, please refer to us for the touch and process. Thank you. Gentlemen, please note that the exit signs on this aircraft are identified by a green symbol. The arrow indicates the direction to the exit. If you need additional information, please refer to the CT features card located in your seat pocket or magazine bag. If your ticket is assigned to something...
Please place baggage in the overhead bin and heavier items under the seat in front of you. With your seat back upright and your tray table stood please locate the one nearest you. Documents return the last warning to start the flow of oxygen. Please take care of all masks before assisting.
So now that we're airborne, let's take a look at the in-flight entertainment system. The personal TV screens on these seats are huge, high-def, and quite responsive. The movie and TV show catalog was alright, but seeing as nothing new has come out in a few months, I really can't say much. My only gripe is that the noise-canceling headphones have been replaced by the same cheap earbuds given to everyone, but in light of the circumstances, I understand. Something I found pretty interesting is that you can actually control the dimmable 787 windows right on your TV screen without having to press the buttons under the windows themselves. Another one of my favorite features here is the remote, which you can use not only just to browse and control the screen, but also to view and adjust the moving map. And with that, it's time to crack out the bedding and get cozy. The mattress cover, duvet, and pillow are all insanely comfortable, and because I wanted to stay tucked in for most of the flight, it was nice having individual air vents to keep me from overheating. About an hour into the flight, the crew came around and handed out tonight's dinner boxes. Air Canada's new COVID service offering means there's only one choice for dinner, but they have at least upgraded from the chicken wraps they were serving for the first few months of the pandemic. It's a far cry from their pre-COVID meal service, but aside from some slightly overdone chicken, it was mostly quite tasty. The veggies in the salad were fresh, the lychee panna cotta was outstanding, and all in all, it was a pretty solid meal. Dinner was served with a limited choice of beverages, including beer, wine, and some delicious Prosecco. After dinner, I put the seat through its paces and tried out the lie flat, which was comfortable, but could only just about fit me at 6'3". I am a giant though, to be fair. I also played around with the loads of different seat controls, like the adjustable support levels and the unfortunately underwhelming, but still pretty cool massage function. Just over halfway through the flight, the crew handed out a plastic goodie bag with chips and chocolate in it. I will say it was a rather long time before the crew came around to collect garbage after the meal and drink services. I had to wait until the end of my flight to discard the cup and plastic snack bag they'd given me, but I know this is in large part because of the crew trying to minimize interactions with passengers for safety reasons, so it's quite understandable. Luckily, as I mentioned, there are a slew of random storage places around the seat to keep finished cups, bags, and other waste. After a couple more hours flying through the dark, we were starting our descent into Vancouver, and I think that's my cue to shut up and let you enjoy the views from our landing.
Vancouver pour les Britanniques, il est présentement 19h50. Ça va atterrir un petit peu plus que 10 minutes en avance à notre prévu ce soir. Votre sécurité, restez assis, gardez votre ceinture bouclée, bagages rangés jusqu'à ce que la consigne des ceintures soit éteinte.
All in all, I had a fantastic time on Air Canada's transcontinental business class and thought they did quite a solid job of keeping a high bar of service in light of the circumstances. My only small issues were the minimal meal and beverage service and reduced crew member presence through the flight, but these changes are mostly in the name of passenger and crew safety, which is more than a good enough excuse. The hard product is impeccable, the food and drinks that were offered were quite good, and the Air Canada crew were friendly as always. I actually had a good chat with the lead flight attendant after the flight, and when I asked him how it's been working through the pandemic, he mentioned that one of the hardest parts is that they, as flight attendants, are trained to be personal, to interact and engage with the passengers, but that a lot of that is just not possible right now. It's a challenge, trying to be friendly and accommodating when the safest move sometimes is to avoid contact as much as possible. So here's hoping for their sake, for our sake, and for the industry as a whole that it won't be long until we can bring that level of connection back. In the meantime, keep smiling behind those masks and remember that bluer skies are ahead. Thanks for watching, everyone.